So hello and welcome to the New Gig podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Hodgson. And today I'm delighted to be joined by the founder of DSLX, Ray Berry. How are you doing today, Ray?
I am good, thank you. Productive day so far, going really well.
Excellent. So Ray, could you just tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about your journey, some of the steps that you've been taking, and also why you decided to take the path that you have so far?
Yeah, sure. So I studied literature and creative writing back at university in Cornwall in England and moved very quickly into the content world, and social media was huge as I was leaving university and just really booming. And I moved back to London and realized London wasn't for me. And I think in about 6 months, I jumped ship and I moved to Barcelona. And since being in Barcelona, I've been in content social media. I've been here about 8 to 9 years now. I have made that shift from a full-time employee into freelancing and then up to today where I'm a founder of my agency, DSLX.
Excellent. Well, quite a journey and a lot of steps on the way. And what
Yeah.
was kind of the tipping point, Ray? First of all, in terms of heading to a new city, but also when did you say, well, that's it, I can't do the 9 to 5, that kind of traditional framework and rat race is not for me?
I think, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Falmouth and Cornwall and how stunning it is, but it's a coastal
Beautiful.
area of the
Yes.
UK. It's so beautiful. And I am from London, but having studied there for 4 years and then moving back to London, I just felt so claustrophobic. I felt so, I was not at that pace anymore. And that pace was not what drove me anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I was in a horrible job where I learned a lot, but I had really huge amounts of micromanagement and
Oh,
really unpleasant bosses. And
yes.
I don't say that out of spite or anything. I say that out of me looking back now and thinking, wow, I was really mistreated. And that
Yeah.
was my first professional job. So
Yeah.
I was in London and every day I was waking up and I was thinking, how can I get out of work today? What excuse have I, how many grandparents have I knocked off? You know, I'm on my sixth grandparent, seventh
Seriously.
grandparent. Things are not adding up. I was
Yeah.
desperate to not be in work.
Mm.
So I would literally, like, I would dream about the weekends, and then the
Yeah.
weekends would come and I'd still be forced to work because we were managing some really large social media accounts. And I remember the tipping point was on Christmas Day. One of our social media clients was running a Christmas campaign where their brief to us was, and their rules were, you have to reply to every single comment, and it has to be a unique reply and mention the person's name on this Facebook campaign. And they asked about 6 questions in the day, and each Facebook post had around 300 to 400 comments.
Oh,
So my
wow.
Christmas Day, that is really important to me
Yep.
and my family,
Mhm.
I was sitting on Facebook telling people thanks for entering the competition, and it was just heartbreaking. And I said, Ray, get out.
Yeah.
And I need a better lifestyle. I
Yeah.
need a better job. And those two things I thought I would find in Barcelona, and I did find in Barcelona. So it was the right risk jump to make. I was definitely forced to take it.
Mm. And it's interesting, isn't it, that sometimes things have to get really bad before you force yourself to take the leap, because
Yeah.
you can convince yourself you're doing okay, it's all right, but this constant anxiety of this is not good, the environment's not good for me, and of course it's not good for yourself in terms of your mental health, but also it's not good in terms of you can't deliver your best if you've been micromanaged or basically treated in a bad way in a office work environment.
Honestly, I did not know. I thought this was normal.
Okay.
I thought this was just what work was as an adult. I thought this is why everyone lives for that 2-week vacation every year. This is what being an adult is. You
Yeah.
dread work every day, and you see it all online as well. Oh,
Mm.
Mondays. And so I just thought, this is it. This is me. I thought, well, I may as well go somewhere where I can, even if I'm not happy with work, but I have to work, I can
Yeah.
at least enjoy my weekends and but how wrong I was. At the same time, it was my first ever job, and I
Yeah.
didn't know any better.
But the fact that you almost stealing yourself, preparing yourself for a miserable existence just because you thought it was normal, that is a really depressing way to start your working life almost, isn't it? When you see it from that perspective, Ray.
Yeah, it was really rough, to be honest. I was really upset. And I think I remember having this conversation with my parents and just saying, I am unhappy.
Yeah.
I'm moving to Barcelona. And them knowing that they would be sad that I was leaving the country, they were more happy that I was going to be happy. And they had never seen me so depressed in my life. I'd never been depressed in my life. And I was really, really down. So it was less of a jump, more of a push. That's exactly what I needed.
Well, that's it in life. Sometimes we need a carrot, sometimes we need a stick. But as long as we act on it, that's the most important thing, I guess.
Yeah. So I acted on it. I started applying for jobs in Barcelona. I applied for one job in Barcelona. It was a company called European Bartender School, and they were hiring a social media intern and a content writing intern. And I emailed them, I called them, I did everything I could to get in their books. And I said, I am not going to do an internship. I've studied for 4 years. I've done an internship already. Take these 2 internships and roll them in one role and let me show you what I can do. And I stepped into head of content or content manager or something like that in that job. And I was happy ever since.
Fantastic. I love these kind of stories, just taking the chance and it works out. And the freelancer lifestyle, and of course Barcelona is a bit of a hotspot for freelancers. Is of course fantastic place to live, with the climate, vibrant city with lots going on. And could you say a little bit about sort of the plus sides of the freelancer lifestyle, but also maybe some of the things that are the negatives? Nothing is ever a bed of roses. There's always the cloud to the silver lining. So just to maybe give a little bit from your own personal experience there, Ray.
Definitely. So if we fast forward 6 or 7 years from that first job position that I had, I was forced to go into freelancing, if I'm honest. At the time I was working at a co-working space, and it was during the pandemic, and obviously co-working was not a thing. And so they said to me, we're cutting your hours down to 70%. So I started freelance writing to make 100%. So my route into freelancing looks a little bit differently because it was just a way of making ends meet. But I walked out of that pandemic, and after 4 months, with 3 or 4 clients, earning more from those 3 or 4 clients in doing 30% work than full-time salary with the co-working space. And I thought, whoa, like actually, why have I not been doing this sooner? So I think when it comes to positives and benefits, positives and negatives of freelancing, and especially in Barcelona, I would say freelancing in general, there is such a huge potential for you to earn so much more. But when you look at freelancing in today's economy, it's also a very high risk game you're playing, because you can take a really well-paid project, and then you could be without a project for 2 months, or maybe you have a ton of clients and then they all go from 1 month to the next. So you do have a high risk. There is high reward, I think. In terms of specifics of Barcelona, the community here is incredible. That Barcelona attracts so much talent, and it attracts so many people of the similar life ethos, and they are not living to work. They're not working to live. The two are just running alongside each other harmoniously. And I think, in the summer, I play beach volleyball. Freelancing enables me to go and play beach volleyball for 2 hours in the morning, come back, start my day at 10, 11 a.m.
Great.
Obviously, I'm now a founder, so things are looking a little bit different. But when I was freelancing, and I still carry a lot of that freelance lifestyle into my business. And it's something that really helps me thrive, especially in this city. I'm surrounded by incredibly inspiring people. I'm surrounded by a culture and a climate that I adore. And yeah, Barcelona enables me to be the best freelancer I can be. I'm a huge believer that you are at your best when you're in an inspiring place.
Yes,
And
definitely.
Barcelona for me is that inspiring place.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right there. It's an inspiring location, also surrounded by good, smart, intelligent people as well, which gives you the even greater boost in terms of your potential and allows you to sort of bounce ideas off people, but also just thrive in the right place.
Yeah, and you know, I think what helps here is that Barcelona is so different to Madrid. And when people think about moving to Spain, they think Barcelona is that, the way I see it, especially, is that younger sibling, a little bit more hip, a little bit more fun, a little bit more creative. There's a
Right.
lot of creatives here. And you want to go to Madrid, it's that older, more mature sibling, family, kids,
Yeah.
more academic. And
Mm.
so there's a lot of finance people, there's a lot of big businesses in Madrid. So Barcelona tends to be that one that attracts those freelancers, those risk takers, those
Mm.
creatives. And I think that's a real saving grace when it comes to when people consider moving to Spain,
Yeah.
and whether they consider going to Barcelona or Madrid. I think if I'd gone to Madrid, I would have had a very different experience.
Yeah, that's interesting in terms of the attraction towards different types of people and different roles as well. I think it's interesting like that. And of course, now so much more is possible with digitalization and the tools and the services that are available. How do you see this is changing at the moment in terms of how digitalization is changing the world of work, but also society more generally?
Yeah, so I think when we went through the pandemic and when everyone was stuck in their homes, we had this huge rise in digital businesses. We had a huge rise in a demand for digital content, which is what my agency does. Everything was booming and everyone was very used to being online and facilitate it a lot better.
Yeah.
What I see now, and I see this because a lot of our clients are in this space and I'm writing about it and I'm dealing with data on these topics on a day-to-day basis, but there's a huge pushback to technology. There's a huge pushback because people are tired of it. And there's a huge pull for offline experiences again.
Right.
Holidays, flights are suddenly through the roof. People wanting to do afterworks, meetups and things like that. But as freelancers, we're based all over the world. So that's what I think why Barcelona is such a great place to be at the moment, because we have a collective of freelancers. So we're still able to build a community on and offline, no matter where we are in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that although there is a pushback, it enables us to do our best work in the day, in that 9 to 5. But then after work, the technology goes away and people are like really desperate for face-to-face interactions again.
Yeah. So you say it's almost like the fact that the difference between living to work, working to live, is a bit like using the technology to facilitate things as opposed to the technology controlling you. It's using it as a tool.
Yes, you said it 100% better than I could have said it, but that's exactly what it is. It's that agreement between technology of you enable me to do my work and to do it very well, but I will not let you control me outside of that space. And it's, I think Barcelona has a very good balance of those two things.
Yeah. And do you think it's just generally as well that people are getting more used to technology, what it can do, maybe some of the limitations, but also some of the risks that you can really get wedded to, whether it's social media channels or just basically always being online, always be expecting to respond within sort of a matter of seconds, that people are actually getting more savvy towards that and setting their own boundaries, setting their own rules about how they interact with it and how they pick it up and how they put it down.
Definitely. And I think that, in our workspaces, we're all very prepared and it's all very well understood how technology enables us. But I do think every day we're setting stronger and stronger boundaries when we close that laptop. And this year, for example, I qualified as a yoga instructor, and it's something alongside all my digital work and my freelance work. And for me to be able to work and deliver a service that is entirely independent of technology is just beautiful. And I don't do it often. I teach once a week.
Right.
But I go into that space and we hold that space without phones and tech. And I'm just like, wow, this is really, really peaceful.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a huge push for wellness initiatives like that bring us offline. And even if that means I'm on a Teams call, with my team at my business, I say, right, everyone, go and have a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
We sometimes have brain breaks in lengthy meetings. And I say, I want you to go and do this. I want you to go and walk here. I want you to go and drink this. I want you to go and listen to this or focus on this. And us going away and still being able to engage with each other by when we come back, we say, hey, I did this, I did that, I did that. But going off screen for a little bit and going away from technology for those 10 minutes is really, really beneficial for us. And I think we'll start to see more of that in some way. I'm not sure how in the future as technology emerges.
Yeah. And I think the online offline balance is really so important. And I think that you've actually figured it out as well in terms of the mental and the physical side, and things like yoga and the wellness piece is just booming because of the fact people need to take care of their own sort of health, whether it's physical health, whether it's mental health, and these kind of things are absolutely essential. And of course, as a freelance open talent, there's more responsibility put on you to decide and also choose and find the right outlets like that.
Yeah. And I'm a huge promoter of it amongst my team. I'm a huge promoter of it amongst, I have quite a large freelancer following on LinkedIn. I work with freelance writers every day. And I'm a big advocate for coming off of line and putting up your own boundaries, whatever they may be. And if someone tells me, hey, I'm not going to do this because of XYZ, good for you. Tell me no, because your mental health is more important than any other thing going on.
Exactly.
Especially in our line of work, right? We're a group of writers. We're not saving lives. No one's going to die if we if we submit late. If you have something going on that is affecting your mental health, tell me, and I will 100% accept it with grace. And that is totally okay. And I will do it without judgment. I think that's really important in today's world, because there's so much instant gratification. There's so much, I want this now, instant validation. And that's kind of translating into our services as well. And if you can push back on that and say, hey, you've got ridiculous expectations, or your expectations are not attainable, great. Remind us and look after yourself first over your work and your client, definitely.
And I think it's a very inspired and very new way of looking at things. I mean, the traditional idea of sort of being a boss was this top-down approach, very old-fashioned. Now it's more being a coach and actually sort of almost tailoring your services and your approach to the talent you're working with, which of course everyone's different. They have different impulses, different stimuli that they react to. So you need to be in tune with that as well, which I think is crucial. And I think the approach that you're adopting there, Ray, is really sort of very important for the for the way forward, to keep people motivated, but also to looked after as well.
The thing, and when I started my business, I have a few full-time members of staff, but I think we work with between 20 to 30 freelancers on a regular basis.
Yeah, big numbers. Yeah.
Why not? If I'm going to do business, why not do business in a way that you can make other people's lives happier?
Yeah.
Like after I think it's come from the suffering that I went through in my first job in London.
Got it.
And now being in a position to be able to employ and offer work. Why can't I do that in a nice way? Why can't I just enable people to live their best lives off of the screen as well as on the screen, and get paid to do what they love? So I think that's so important for leaders of today, is to just be a coach. Exactly that. You are there as a springboard for every other freelancer or full-time employee that you work with. They don't work for you. They work with you. And that's what's changed now, I hope.
Yeah, well, if it's not, I think it's changing. I think there's sort of people like yourself are at the forefront, but other companies, organizations, the public sector needs to follow this, because if not, they're not going to get the right individuals. They're certainly not going to have motivated individuals delivering value for the company or the organization. So it's kind of enlightened self-interest, I guess, at the end of the day, Ray, as well, because everyone wins out of it.
Yeah, and it's exactly that. We create our best work when we're at our happiest.
Yes.
So why don't I enable people to be their happiest? And that in turn makes me happy. So we're all happy, you know. It's a win-win.
It really is.
I'm trying to do it as often as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about the sort of the content marketing. What are the changes that are underway at the moment, both in terms of how it's delivered, how you actually sort of do the work, but also what are the changes in terms of the partners and customers? What are they looking for?
Yeah, so I think the content world changed a lot this year with AI and ChatGPT. We've all heard this before. I'm not going to tell you anything new here. Now, what I will tell you about the content world is that although it was shaky when ChatGPT first launched, we lost a lot of clients. A lot of clients said, "Oh, we're going to go do this." So it also changed the value that a lot of people put on content. Okay. Oh, I presume ChatGPT can do 80% of the work and you can do the other 20%, so I want to pay you less. This was the attitude. Now, people have had the time to use it. Content managers have had the time to experiment with it, have realized it is not where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is where it needs to be in some aspects. It has forced a lot of content managers and founders to realize we need to do better, because we don't want people to think our content is written from AI. Yes. So it is in turn lifting the entire content industry and content writers, producers, curators to build better content, more engaging, lean more on storytelling, lean more on podiuming other people that have unique angles, that things that AI can't do. So it's kind of trimming down on in the talent sector of, unless a writer really wants to get better at writing, they will quit now. Yeah. Now, if that writer is really dedicated to honing their craft, they will push on and they will start earning a lot more than what they used to be earning, because people are now willing to pay a lot more to get a lot better than AI. And that's the real change that we're seeing as we're closing out this year, is that clients are coming to us and saying, they're no longer coming to us and saying, hey, this is the title, this is the brief, this is the outline. They're saying to us, what do you think? What's the angle we should take on this? What can you do here? And suddenly a much more holistic content partner rather than a project delivery partner. We're implementing truly unique approaches to content that are standing out to AI and companies to pay more for that now. So we're out of the forest, I would say.
Yeah, well, it is positive, and I think it sort of forces everyone to up the game. I mean, a far more intelligent person than me, Callum Adamson from Distributed, said that all AI does is allow everyone to be average.
Yeah.
A great way of putting it. That there's still that premium paid for the content, as you say, podium the right kind of angle and things like that, which is even more valuable than ever before. I think is the way that it's not going to kill off anything. It's just going to make sure that the individuals have to sort of sharpen the game and really deliver.
I think it was a Spider-Man quote or some superhero quote, and it said, if everyone's a superhero, no one is. Yes. That's exactly what AI has done for the world. It's given everyone access to being a superhero, and suddenly we're all at the same level again. We've just upped the game. So we have to find the next level to that.
Yeah, exactly. And what does the future hold then, right? Because you've got this fantastic journey already, great steps, and you've got this, now got the platform. You're sort of almost a curator, but also an inspiration for a lot of freelancers in what you're doing, and really delivering value and quality to partners and clients. What's the next steps? How would you like things to go from here?
I'm really excited about the next steps for DSLX, and they're already in motion. So DSLX is going through a big rebrand at the moment,
Yeah.
because right now DSLX is very much DSLX content and that service provider agency. And what we're doing, the mission of the agency is to empower dyslexic and minority group writers.
Right.
Or that's at least how it started. DSLX is moving up as a mother brand to empower dyslexic and minority group people. And then we're going to start delivering on every other funnel and new business models to better promote that mission. So we're still going to have DSLX content, and we're going to change the way the world shares stories through DSLX content and how businesses share stories. But we're going to start providing a lot more services to the freelance writing community. We're releasing a course in a couple of hours.
Wow.
Just checking the time there. We're releasing our first course for the freelance writing community today.
Yeah.
We're going to start providing content to kids. I'm going to start writing children's books on what it's like to be neurodiverse and how you can identify that when you're younger and how you can embrace that when you're younger. So we're finding other ways to stay true to our mission.
Yeah.
And stay true to content. This is what we love, right? We're all storytellers at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And we're just trying to change the way the world reads, writes, shares stories in as many avenues as we can. And right now we're doing that only with businesses, but we're going to be doing that with freelance writers, the service providers at the beginning. And then we're going to be doing that younger and coming to schools earlier as well. And I'm really excited to see what next year is going to look like for DSLX, because it's going to be really game changing.
Fantastic. Well, Ray, really appreciate you taking the time to explain what's going on, but also sharing with your own journey. But at the same time as well, really want you to come back and update us in a few months' time to see where we are and how far along that particular road we've come, because it's fantastic things that you're doing, and every credit to you along the way.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time you took today, and I'd love to come back on, and you hold me accountable to
it. Absolutely. With pleasure. Speak to you soon, Ray. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.